think the experience was very good. I like the concept of, as I always say, the industry academia interaction. So students getting to interact with the industry is always good. And also for me from the industry, because I represent the industry, it was a learning experience in the process that how are the students today thinking, because you will be the leaders of tomorrow, and especially IIM Rohtak would create leaders going forward. So it also helps to understand how are you thinking now, right? Let's say I come from the business of hiring people, finding people, finding senior people for my clients. So I need to understand where is the thought process of the future leaders now going, and you are the future leaders. So I think that from that point of view, it was a very interesting, session. Even the first one was very interesting. So thank you for inviting. Okay, see, textile was manufacturing, right, and consulting is services, pure services. So the HR practices overall may not be too different, but the kind of audience the HR is addressing, targeting is entirely different. So manufacturing mostly for textiles, this is the largest Indian textile conglomerate, Vardhaman Textiles in India. So there the most of the people are from the manufacturing side, the manpower as they would call. Less number of white collar people, more blue collared. So the HR practices are more IR practices in those kind of environments. Whereas in consulting, it's more white collar. We have no blue collar, right? For example, we don't have technicians. We hardly have anyone. So from that perspective, the audience, because it is more educated here in consulting and services, is more aware, is more exposed, they're more evolved. So the HR has a tougher task in a services environment to manage the human resources as compared to a manufacturing environment. So the HR practices are also structured around looking at what the audience wants, what the audience is looking. So that way, it's slightly different, but the fundamentals remain the same. There's not much of a difference. Okay, I think the most important way to do it and how I have been doing it, I've been working with Germans for over 10 years now. So the best way is to engage with employees on both these sides. So right now I'm in a leadership position, so I have a team which works with me, and I also have my seniors who I report to, who sit in Germany. So it's my duty to actively engage both. So my seniors are all Germans, they're not Indians. One of them is an Indian, one of the board members, but most of them are Germans. And my all colleagues here in India are Indians. We have no Germans over here. And similarly for the clients we handle. So our German clients, when we take mandates from Germany or Europe, they are Germans. So what we do is we try to, whether it's a client or our own colleagues, we try to engage, talk to them, communicate more with them. The biggest difference between German way of doing things and Indian way of doing things is how seriously we take commitments. So in Germany, if it's a commitment, it's a commitment. If you give your word, then it's like set in stone. India, unfortunately, still has a long way to go. Now, when you have commitments made to the clients, unless your team also does the same way, follow their commitments, you as a leader can't do much. And that is the only way to do it is engage with your colleagues, your employees, engage all the stakeholders basically. You engage with them. And I think most of the differences of opinion arise because of the lack of engagement, whether it's due to shyness, because of the cultural differences, it could be language, a barrier. Not every German would be as good in English as Indians would be. Sometimes you say something in English, they interpret it in a different way, has a different meaning altogether. Likewise, they say something in their English, German English, and you understand differently. So I think I've learned in the last about 11 years that the only way to iron out these differences is to engage more, communicate more, talk more. We don't normally. When we start working, generally I'm speaking, that engagement is normally lacking across levels. It has to be more. See, the basic difference is the kind of detailing which you need to put in or go through when you're hiring a senior management executive. because there are not many available in the market, right? The market is limited. It's like a pyramid. So very less people at the top. And out of those lesser number of people available, professionals available, everyone is having the equal skill set and all those things which are required for that job. But not everyone will be fitting in or suitable for a particular job. So a CEO in X company may not fit in Y company, even though he would be a star performer in X. So the amount of due diligence which you need to put in, the amount of detailing, the amount and the way you engage with them, you cannot be wrong, right? You cannot really fool when you reach out to that professional in the first instance. If you are not prepared, if you have not done your homework well, you may just put him or her off, right? Your first approach may be, if you're not prepared and he or she asks you one question about the role and you are not prepared, then you've lost that candidate forever. Whereas the middle or junior management, it's not that. The stakes are not so high. Even if you lose one candidate because he or she doesn't like your way of asking questions, there are 10 more in the market. Stakes are lower. And at the middle or junior level, the people are more concerned about, so when they make a change, it's more of a job change. It's not a career move. Mostly driven by money, because you're just like the Maslow's hierarchy, pyramid. So you're just at the lowest level or the one level above. So the baser needs are more important to you. So if somebody says, okay, fine, I'm calling from XYZ company, a consulting company, and we have a client who needs you. And so the first question normally they'll ask is, how much will I get a hike on my current CTC? My current package is this, how much will they pay more? That's typically how the junior to middle management thinks. Whereas when you talk to a CEO for a lateral movement, money is the last thing they will ask, right? They'll first try to understand the role, not even the organization. The organization comes second. First is the role. What enhancement a CEO versus CEO find in this company to that company? How is it going to be different? And that's where the engagement, there's not asking questions or giving answers. It's very, very, it's a delicate process. It's like handling China, bone China. So that's where the difference lies. I mean, it's a very long topic. I don't think we have so much time, but yes, that's a very, very primary difference. How you engage, again, the kind of questions you ask, the kind of questions they will expect you to already know answers for. The most important factor is that you should see India in its uniqueness in entirety. Almost every company I've helped come into India, and I've helped more than 350 odd companies in the last about 8-9 years come into India. They think, okay, fine, India is Asia and the benchmark is China, always. So most of them think, okay, fine, if we were successful in China following a particular strategy, India is bordering China, Asia, same culture, so we just copy paste the China model. Or if they've not been to China before, they say, fine, how different it is. I make the best product in the market, in the world. I am selling as a leader in Europe or in the Western world, US for example. I'll just go in and sell the same way in India. I think that's the biggest mistake. So the companies have to first of all understand the nuances of the Indian market, and India as a country. We are like like the European Union. 29 states are like 29 countries. So if you come from Germany, you cannot say that it's like whole of Europe. So that's one thing, that they need to understand India as India. Not copy paste some other countries or some other culture on India. It doesn't work. Every company makes a mistake. I think this I always tell. We don't hire freshers, but sometimes I do engage with them. Is that what you study in your books, what your professors will teach you is fine, but try to understand what's happening around you in the world. And try and relate that with what you're studying. Normally, because the course will be very intense, right? You will not have probably much time unless there's a case study being prepared and then you are required to go beyond your classroom. Normally, students get sucked into that routine, monotonous way of only studying. Today, with the information technology being at the click of not even click, press of a phone screen, you have all the information available, right? Real-time basis. Not in, maybe I'm a little older in the system that way. We didn't have mobile phones. We didn't have internet actually. When I passed it was still nascent. We had very slow connection. So please get engaged. Again, you hear this engage term a lot of time. That's what I find is missing in everything we do. So what you should do is whatever you study in the classroom, you should try and relate I mean, Google, for example, is a good thing. Just type that keyword, and you get a lot of examples over there, and then try to understand how are they doing in real life. I don't know whether you have as a system in your institute to interact with companies. One is a summer training or winter training is a different thing, but you have that. Please make better use of it. It should not be just a picnic going to that company and then 1 day, 2 days kind of thing. No, try and engage with the different functions. Let's say if you're going to be an HR professional in the future, so try and engage with the HR head over there or the HR colleagues over there and understand from them that this is a concept I studied last semester or last month. So do you see a practical application of this? So the practicality of the studies which you do, the hands-on approach, is normally what is missing. Like the lady in the morning said, that HR is seen to be okay, fine, fancy AC office and the best cushy job in the world, no responsibility, no accountability and all the authority. It is not. So try and relate, ask questions. Normally people don't ask questions, ask stupid questions. I always say there's no question which is stupid. If you don't ask, actually you remain stupid forever. Please ask. Be stupid for 5 minutes, but ask questions. So the interaction with the industry helps. So that's where I would say consciously you should do it. It will not come naturally. You have to put in effort to do this. I think I just said that please be a little more practical in what you do, because I think you don't have practicals, so to say, right? On the science stream, you would have practicals. Do you have practicals? You have summer trainings, right? You have, or internships, whatever you call. When you do that, and I think you will have at least 2 or 3 times in your 2 years here, please really try and understand how things are happening there. Normally for these trainees, summer or winter trainees, interns, not many responsibilities will be given by the companies. Ask, again, as I said, seek responsibilities. I am not just here to get a certificate that I did my 3-4 months of training. I really want to contribute. Can I do something? Can I help you in whatever small project you are doing? Give me some project, a live one. When you ask these things, I think it will help. So be hands-on. You will always have to be hands-on. You cannot say, okay, fine, now 15 years in my career, I have reached the corner office, I am sitting easy. No. So that's the attitude has to start now, and that will help you. Right. So thank you for inviting me. It was a pleasure. Thank you.